7:03, we'll call to order. And
We got the minutes.
yep.
If everyone's
Everybody
all
get a chance
set.
to read the minutes that was here?
Yep. All right, here's the agenda.
You left approved minutes off the agenda there.
Yeah, well, that was something I've been trying to get back to the minutes. So yes, I did notice that just now. So the
That's
minutes,
all
does
right.
anyone want to make a motion on the minutes?
I will make a motion to accept last meeting's minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, anybody have any questions, comments, amendments? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, opposed? Motion passed unanimously. All right, Bruce, next on your agenda.
Agenda, any public comments?
You see any public out there? You got the
No, I have
comment?
nothing. No one's, no, we don't have anybody.
Okay, I
Nope.
think you're going right into C1, upcoming projects.
Okay. So the shell, new share list. Here we go. So this is the list that we've been working on. So if you want, we can go through this one by one.
Let's skip the whoops.
Yeah, we could do that.
So I think, so yeah, I think we kind of took that off because we had a lot of things bouncing around. So members have separate projects, so prioritizing may not be required. The grants, let's see, we've been going through a lot of the grants, looking for funding for the design for the jug handle. We
Yep.
need to get a design going for that.
So
we're waiting.
Bruce, I met with Deep today, this morning,
Okay.
on the recreational trails program. It is moving forward. The RFP is scheduled to be out end of October, start of November. It might be a little later than that because the Connecticut Green Areas Council, which I run, had a series of 4 different meetings to revamp the scoring matrix for this program, to add a few things that weren't in there, to take out a few things that were in there that we never used. And so, and that point count, by the way, that essentially will be in the new application. So they haven't internally passed what we just passed this morning within DOT, their legal advisors. As soon as they do, they'll put together the application. So it could move into November, but they're definitely planning on getting a request for applications for that $9 million in grant money before the end of the year, probably with a similar end date of basically December 31st, which I think that's what it was last year.
And
So-
that design is included in those as well.
So one of the things we did is that design and planning design and construction are the number one items that we would like to fund through that program. And there's others too as well. And there will be guidance in the application document.
All right.
They've also talked to DOT. They have a new program out that I don't know whether I forwarded to you, Bruce, or not, but it's really more designed for rural applications, which I don't think Farmington qualifies under the rural guidelines. But that's new money. I think that's $6 million a year. And then they're going to add more money to community connectivity. I did hear that. Although I believe you've currently got, CJ, didn't community connectivity become the Main Street sidewalks?
Yeah.
Is that, yeah, Okay.
I believe that was part of
So,
that,
so I think we have to prosecute that and get that done before you can reapply to that program.
We're pretty darn close.
Yeah, it looks great, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. It came out well.
So for the sidewalk easements, that seems like that could be kind of a long process. What do we need to do to get that kicked off?
You mean for the jug handle portion?
Yeah,
Bruce?
I think we need a design first. We need to
Yeah,
know what you're looking at, and from there, you then start working with like the Hillstead. The Hillstead's one of them. So we'll, at that point, we
Yeah.
start looking at something, showing them the plan. They have to then agree to it, or we start tweaking the plan at that point. It's really difficult to go to someone. That's like me going to you saying, hey, we want to put an easement across your yard. Well, show me what you're doing. So you really need
Sure.
something to show them. And then if anyone is going to
Yeah.
be looking for any kind of a cost associated with that easement, then we need to get appraisers involved at that point to come up with
Yeah.
So- okay, so we need the grant first to get the design work done, and then once we have a design, then we can get easements.
definitely.
And
and
CJ,
and the design, Andrews, usually, as a practical matter, even though it's probably been done 1,000 times, because it needs to be third party, there will certainly be another survey, is my guess. You know, in the process of design, they'd also see where the property lines are, where the state lines are, you know, et cetera, right?
Mhm.
And so that tends to dictate what has to happen, you know? And I'll discuss in a moment. I was approached by DOT regarding some legislation that looks like they're going to need, because DOT is having a real problem with right-of-ways right now. But I'll get into that at some other point. I know Ron's heard some of this. So, but that's pretty much what I've got for grants right now. Pretty much anything in the fall is the period of kind of Columbus Day, you know, through the end of the year. And as soon as I know more from all these folks, I will shoot that, you know, immediately to Bruce, and CJ, I will CC you on that.
Great, thanks.
CJ, can we use that for the Route 4 sidewalks as well, to go from like NOLA to the high school and kind of get a straight shot from, so we get full sidewalks from Unionville to Farmington Center?
It's just how much is out there and how much we can get done. You know, the sidewalks on Main Street going from Farmington Avenue to the Highlands was, what was that total? Do you know the total, Bruce, that we put into that? Is that a $2 million?
For the grant, you mean for the grant, or?
Yeah,
are we
the whole
talking about-
grant.
I don't know, Dylan, where'd Dylan go? He was on here. Did
He's
he
right
jump
there.
out? Oh, is he here? All right, I
So-
don't see your face. All right.
What was the whole value of the grant for Farmington Avenue, Main Street, excuse me?
Oh, Main Street. Okay.
Yeah, for Main Street, the portion that we're doing right now, we were awarded $2 million in total about. And the project it actually came way under. It was about $1 million before any changes or add-ons. So the contract value was about $1 million. For, I want to say it was 10,000 linear feet off the top of my head, but I'd have to check.
Okay, that's close enough. That's, I think,
$500,000
Andrews,
miles.
that gives you an idea just,
Yeah.
you know, per foot, what you're talking about,
Sure.
cost of getting that done.
Yeah, well,
so-
I'm just thinking that's something that we've talked about since this whole thing started, you know,
Yeah.
5-10 years ago.
Yep.
And
Yeah, Andres, and that's actually discussed down more, because I know that Dylan
Okay.
mentioned that the grant period is open, and that we were making an application for
Cool.
that. So,
awesome.
but we can talk about that maybe when we get
So-
down to it.
Yeah, and I just want to say that the actual price per square foot on the Main Street job was around $25 or $26 a square foot.
Wow.
But that is for a job with existing sidewalk. For much of Farmington Ave, it would be brand new. Because we don't have any existing sidewalk to go by, so
Yeah.
it would be a bit more.
Thanks.
All right, talked
Okay.
about the grants. Where's this thing? It's moving all over the place. Here we go. DOT jug handle. We're explaining need for needed center of town, the jug handle on the radar. All right, this is, yeah, this was for, this is for the whole signalization of the intersection and then upgrading that. And I think we would marry that with the trail up and to the jug handle at that point. DOT projects.
Can I just make a comment on that?
Yeah. Who's,
You know, I've been continuing to reach out to people to, you know, get this to be a more visible project. So I've been invited to attend the Connecticut Bike Ped Advisory Board meetings. Next one, September 23rd. I got that from Sandy Fry, an invitation. And also heard from another person, Caitlin Palmer.
Oh,
who's
yeah,
with
from CROG.
And she must have got wind of my, right. So anyway, she sent me an email and asked me to confirm that I was talking about this area, and I did, and I kind of gave her an explanation of what we're looking at. And I mentioned the Farmington Bike Advisory Committee because she asked me to reach out to the town. And I explained that it's state roads, so we need state help, and would be a state project. So that's just a couple of updates from my end. I will attend this Zoom meeting. The next one's on September 23rd. That's with the Bike Ped Advisory Board. So I'm just, you know, again, plugging away to keep it visible with the people that that I think control the money and the decision making, but I'm not sure if they do or not. But that's what I've been doing.
No, you're doing the right stuff. Just so you know, Rich, I go to that as well. That's the, so there's two legislatively appointed councils. That's one of them. So that's DOT's, and I go to that as a guest. And then DOT has people that come to ours, which is Connecticut Greenways Council. So those are the two that would have the most control. But for your purposes, that's the one you want to go to. Yes.
Okay.
That's DOT's you know, captive legislatively appointed committee.
Right. Okay.
okay. Down to the DOT projects. The side path, Mountain Spring, we have that. That's talked about up top with the jug handle path, all this together. Get a camera. Same thing. I think that whole signalization will be done. I think we said with that jug handle project. And again, nothing during plowing season. It's all going to be done as part of that design project. Jug handle path to Wolf Pit. I know that's what Rich was just talking about. And then we talked here about Bruce spoke to VHB. They're interested. BC to discuss. So that was for the that's all for the jug handle path. I'll have to clean these up a little bit. Board of Ed. Get Board of Ed member to the bike committee. What do we got
I
here? We got
keep
the fifth
asking on
grade.
a regular basis. I have gotten note takers. Oh, this is for the Westwoods. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's all just, I think it's all in the same thing here. So that's, yeah, down, I don't like this way this is doing this here. But fifth grade bike curriculum, anything on that? Or are we gonna, do you want me to just take this off or put it on hold or
No,
what?
so, I spoke, we had a year meeting for Bike Walk Connecticut. Spoke with Mary Cochran, and they have a program where they will come out and train the phys ed teachers.
Mhm.
And we've spoken about this before, but they're all ready to go again. They have a fleet of bikes, so it can be done on a trial, as a trial. She would love to join the next meeting and talk more about it.
Okay, you want to forward me her contact information and I will include her on the next agenda?
Yes, well, let me make sure that she can make it first.
Yeah, you have the meeting dates. So just throw that out to me and would like to do a presentation.
And just so you're aware, and I think you are, Ron, but I don't know whether it came up, but basically their bicycle trailer has been updated. Mitchell Auto Group did that, and they bought all new bicycles for the program. So they've got basically a brand new fleet.
Yeah, and obviously there's a cost to it, but she'll go over that as well. Because there are also, thought there was a grant that we can possibly go through or apply for. But we'll learn more by
Yeah,
having her.
Hi, this is Neil. I just got home from work, so just dialed in.
All right, no problem, Neil. Bike to school, anything? I know, Ron, you said one of the school children was
Yeah.
available.
So, I have it written right here. Jesus. East Farms. So the gym teacher, whatever, I forgot her name. You know, I kept saying, well, let's meet. And she's like, well, can you just give me a description of the program? And I finally said, you know, look, there is no cookie cutter type, you know, description I can give you. Each school is totally different from the next. So she's hopefully going to set up an appointment with me and the principal and herself. And we'll just throw some ideas around and see which model they want to do. Hopefully it'll be ride on a school day. So I'll keep everyone up to date on that. If there's anyone who would like to, once I know the date of the meeting, I'll send an email out. It's always, you know, always good to have a second person come along with me.
Okay,
So that'll be probably 3 schools, maybe 4 for this school calendar. So, yikes, gonna have to try to squeeze them in.
Nice keeping adding to them, Ron, though. That was nice.
Yeah, they had heard about it through Union School.
word of mouth, you know, it's going crazy.
Yeah.
So
Oh, the parents love it.
that's good. And maybe after that, you'll be able to get some volunteers out of the parents to maybe help out.
Yeah,
So, you know,
we can hope.
well, you don't know, you go through the principals can always make announcements through the PTA or something.
Yeah.
The bicycle building, I heard that the high school got a grant to design a bicycle. I mean, is this something that we still want to follow or do we want to delete this?
Well, I think it's just good for us to know because we can put that on our application for bike-friendly community.
Who forwarded out the information on the grant? I can't remember.
Yeah, where do we see that from?
What, that was in an announcement that got emailed to, yeah, it was part of that grant list.
yeah, I was on that list too. I don't remember actually who sent it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It was nice to
But
hear.
I do think we should follow it because among other things, it's interesting, right? I mean, you know, and if they want to put together, you know, more of a full-blown program,
Mhm.
you know, I'm still willing to talk to them about that. It seems like this is a relatively small club, it's a few kids that want to, learn how to do this. And, I don't necessarily think we have to have any particular interaction, but we should know what they're up to.
Okay,
Well, the other thing we could look to that group for is we used to have a high school representative on this,
Yeah.
on the bicycle friendly committee. But it would be nice to have a direct connection to the high school so we get some kind of idea of what's going on. I don't know whether you're going to see more or less bicycles going to school when construction starts, but you would think fewer people would be able to drive their cars there if they have one. So might be good for biking to school also.
I see they
Anything-
lost their sledding area with the new parking spot.
Oh yeah, temporarily. Temporarily.
It doesn't look too temporary to me.
You know, that was
long-term.
freaking nightmare. That's a long story, but I was rooting for a gravel parking lot, but didn't win that argument.
No, it's pretty fancy if you ask me. I took a look at it the other day. I was impressed. It's nice.
Well, with that flash storm that we had, that 3 inches that we got like in an hour, you'd be glad that that parking lot was designed the way it was. Ask Dylan, we were chasing rain blowouts everywhere. That whole detention pond overflow, it blew out across the avenue, so it was a mess.
So you're saying Farmington
Yes.
Avenue would now be a gravel road if we had just done a gravel parking lot?
It used to be a
Absolutely.
gravel road a long time ago.
There you go. Back to the
The
future.
salmon would have a great place to spawn in the Farmington River.
There you go.
All right, and then the board member, you've been working and we don't hear anything from them, so.
No.
All right, get a PD member, Jeff is on. Last, Jeff, we were talking, I think you were looking to do something, oh yeah, why is that not in here? That's somewhere else, we talked about the bikes, remember? You were gonna get you had a bunch of those, the repossessed bikes, and you were looking to get rid of them?
Yep, I still have them. I was just meeting with the state examiner that's in charge of property to talk to him about those and whatnot, but haven't made a decision with anything at this point. Haven't made a contact with anybody.
All right, did you ever call that bike place in Hartford?
I did not. Just so much going on lately.
No, you.
Summertime,
You and all of us, okay.
All right.
We'll keep that on
Should be
hold until
chasing
you.
carpeting?
Jeff, just let me know if you want any contacts there. That's BCco in Hartford. And also, I think Bike Walk New Britain might have an interest as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't mind, you should have my email. You can get a chance to shoot some off.
I'll do that.
Cold calling. Appreciate it, Bruce. Thanks.
And I gave you Nancy Parent, at our social services as well, if you
Yep.
make contact
Yeah,
with her.
I have reached out to the town and didn't really get any response to them, so.
right. Hey,
Yeah, I stopped by Bicycle quite a bit. In fact, I was there today to get a bike helmet. If you want me to mention anything or get any contact, if I know the people that run the shop there, let me know.
Yeah, you
Actually,
can
Yeah,
Just
that might
forward
be
me
better
stuff.
coming from you, Rich. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, will do.
sounds good.
okay. Trail wayfinding signs. Let me give you guys a little update. As you know, I think we spoke last or in July. It was secret. I couldn't say it, but the AARP grant came out and we did receive money for that. Let me get this. So what we have together here. Here we go. All right. Where's my site plan? There we go. So what we did, can you guys see this plan?
Yep.
All right, so what we've done is we've been trying to work a little quickly on this to put something together. Rose Ponte, our Director of Economic Development, received this grant from AARP. So we decided we're gonna marry it together with our wayfinding signs that we still have up on the trail that we have to do. So I have the guy that gave me a price on those is also working on a plan for here. So if everybody's familiar, sorry, go back up here. If everybody's familiar with the intersection, as you know, they're right now, you guys can see the picture now, right?
Yep.
So this area is empty right now with some grass. We've got some sidewalk and some benches across there. Let's get through here. Give me a second. There we go. So we have these sidewalks here. They'd kind of thrown those in as an idea just to get something in there. So we had something to cross. And so what we've done is we decided, hey, look, you know what? We wanted to do something a little bit more of an entrance to Unionville with a sign, a kiosk. So what we decided to do was come up with this little plan here. So that new Puente pub is right here. The old Parsons is up on here. So as you're coming into Unionville, the bridge is over here. You'll be looking up at this little area here. So there'll be sidewalk. We have a proposed area for a bike rack in here. And we'll have 2 benches on either side. And this will be a hexagon or a nut to try to symbolize what you call from the Upson Nut company. So, and inside there we'll do a kiosk. So the kiosk will look something like, this is our initial view of it. So we've been looking at a few options. One of them was something like this, a plain one. One of them had the bridge top, so to kind of mimic the bridge top on it. This one had some nuts on it from the Upson Nut company. So it's going to be, this would be facing like Puente Pub, and this would be on the backside. So these are kind of some options that we're looking at right now. And we met with the Historic District Commission. They're in favor with this bridge top look. Shannon, our town planner, is looking to go to ADRC on Thursday, so she's going to bounce it off of them on Thursday. So we'll see what their initial thought is. If they're on board as well, then we'll be most likely be taking this plan here and making some modifications to actually tweak it up. The plan is to put a little history of the trails and Unionville in here. There'll be some QR codes in here. And what that'll do is that'll take you to like a Google map, our Explorer Farmington site. And in there, you'll see all the businesses in town and places that you can go. You can click on it and things like that. So it's kind of a area where once you get off of the bike trails up off of the old what am I looking for? The old station up there. You'll come down and you'll be able to go to this kiosk and see where you can go in Farmington, where you can get something to eat, where you can go shopping, where you can get some Band-Aids, or where you can go grocery shopping, whatever you want to do. And then there's the bike rack will be off to the side. So if you wanted to lock your bike and walk over to Puente's or put your bike in and walk into Unionville, it's up to you. So that is, we're kind of excited. Unfortunately, it's a very quick timeline. Rose said ARP needs it by the middle of November. So with all the problems that we're having with the supply issues, we're scrambling really fast. I've already ordered the benches, the 2 benches and the bike rack, and those will be in, I think they said like 9 to 12 weeks. So they may be going in after the grand opening, but those have been ordered. So we're working with the sign guy now. So hopefully Thursday we get a positive referral from the ADRC. We get this wrapped up. We get our sign guy to make any tweaks, and we can get this thing ordered.
That's
So
pretty
we'll
cool.
have that along with our wayfinding signs that we talked about up over here.
Would we put a water fountain there?
I don't think we have any water service off the road,
Okay.
because that requires, I'll definitely look into it. Let me make a note.
Well, I figured, Pete's liquor store was there, and I'm sure he had a sink in a bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know if they went back into the curb though and cut it in the road.
Okay.
You have to cut the
Sure.
road. But definitely I will look into, I have a note on that.
Either that or a bar.
A bar?
Well,
Okay.
I mean, it what, you know, in
There's
the
already
history,
a
it used
watering
to,
hole
what it
across
used to
the
be.
street.
So where's the spot up here? And I think for those who may not know, the newer people, the other object is to put the wayfinding signs up on here. We'll have a black post like our street lights over in these areas here with a simple directional sign pointing you down toward Unionville for restaurants, drink, first aid, things like that. So there'll be
Where
one
is
here-
that? Where is that gonna go?
somewhere around here and this intersection, and it'll be pointing you to the left. And the other one will be on the other side of the street. We were trying to find a spot for it. It's not that easy, but maybe something like right in here on the back side of this post, again, with a street, with our posts like these right here, something like this. Oh, not like that, but these right here.
Okay,
The
so I
streetlights,
was
it'll
gonna,
look like that.
so I was gonna almost be that guy because everything we're doing is off the trail where most people aren't going to go. But if on the signage there, if we can have something that maybe says information or something to direct people to that kiosk.
Yeah, it'll look, I mean, I guess I could add kiosk on there, but it looks like, and I think you guys have seen these before. No, that's the kiosk presentation, right? Yeah.
Guys, you might be making this a little too complicated. You could paint it right on the road. Just put an arrow, information, and have an arrow on the pavement.
Well, it's State Road, I mean, that's kind of harder, but we were looking at doing something like this. So it'll be the post and
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
have
it's
little,
nice.
and we'll have
That's
little,
exactly it. Yeah.
and we'll have flags pointing you down. And unfortunately, they're all gonna go to the right. They're all gonna point down towards Unionville, but we'll have some gas and maybe we could add a kiosk or an information kiosk flag.
No,
on
no,
there.
that's really nice, actually. That looks good. Nobody wants to go up that hill anyway.
There's nothing up there, there's just, except for residential properties at that point. So.
You
that's
got
what we-
you got the smoothie place in the depot there.
Yes, we talked with, Rose has been working with her. We may do something separate. Or down further down by the brick building, or I may work with her to have her put a sign. Will allow her to put a sign on the side of the building there. So
Oh,
people will
good.
see it.
Bruce,
Yeah.
there's
I had a
also,
long-
there's
I had
also
a
that
long-
spot
Go
up
ahead.
by, there's also that spot up by the oil company there where there is that opening that goes directly onto the road. That might be a good spot to put her sign too.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
All right, guys.
Yep.
Water fountains, I still have to work with REI or someone, and I know, I think, I think, Bruce, I think you said that, who was it? I don't have it in front of me. It's in the minutes. Who was it that had, you had some money?
Yeah, well, it was REI.
Yeah, REI, the Rotary too.
Rotary has money. They're looking to do something.
Mhm.
And there's other small grants out there as well.
Okay. So if we go through the Rotary, do we just need to just get them an estimate or something?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would assume that their project committee would want to look at it.
Yep.
And make a decision regarding it. But yeah, I mean, they got, geez. It seems like it was a long time ago when I met with them, but it wasn't really. It was just like a couple months ago. But I seem to think they got $3,000 or $4,000, and then they're supposed to match that from their regional Rotary.
Okay.
So they've got, they have a decent amount of money to spend on something.
Yeah, because I think last I had was like $6,000 to $8,000 was the last pricing that we had for it.
Yeah, and I would say that could potentially be low. We were trying to buy one in Massachusetts, and it's looking like it's gonna be 10 or 11, just so you know.
Oh, okay, yeah, mine was a simple one. It wasn't nothing too fancy. It's, I think it was a standard. I think Hartford had the same ones. So,
This is the standard one, only with the pet bowl on the bottom.
Yeah, this one had a pet bowl too. It had a pet bowl
Okay.
and a bottle filler as well.
It's probably very similar then.
So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Complete streets. That's me as well. I've got to get that over to Shannon. I apologize on that one. That's been such a long time for me. I think I'm gonna make a note of I just have to get it done. So, sidewalks, east-west border. CJ adding council to strategic plan, January, February, town working with CROG for potential funding of the 23-24 grants. And Dylan, I think this is where you jump in on this one. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Did you do anything with this, or is there any progress on this one?
So our current plan is to go for funding through LOTSIP for the 2023 solicitation. And that would be a 100% funded project, most likely. We are still working on a slew of other projects, including Brickyard Road, which was just approved on the 13th at the last town council meeting. And we're looking to get that up and running. And then we have a few other applications that are already in process. We're going for money through the federal government too, for a potential project that I will be submitting tomorrow, actually. So this LOTSIP round has kind of taken a back seat for the last couple weeks, but it should be coming back up on our radar pretty soon.
When is those due, Dylan? Those applications?
The LOTSIP,
Yeah,
I believe January.
okay.
I think lots of is turn of the year, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe first week of January.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
And now this is what Andres was talking about. This is trying to close the gaps in the sidewalk along Farmington Avenue between the town hall and Farmington Center.
Yes, and if anyone's familiar or has seen the plans for the sidewalk project we're doing on Main Street, we already have a similar construction plan built or designed for this project. So it's really just kind of taking a closer look at it, making sure we don't have too many conflicts, looking for conflicts with utility companies. As some of you may know, utility locations are a big driver in cost, so we try to avoid it as much as we can. So over the next couple months, that's going to be the main focus, is trying to find those conflicts where, you know, maybe the sidewalk needs to move over and maybe we need some right-of-way acquisition here and there to make it work. Or, you know, maybe it's cheaper at the end of the day to move a pole or two here and there to rather than acquiring land. So all of that has to be done, and then the application would follow shortly after that. We just need to see where we are. Yep.
Do we need to get easements for, the 10 or so houses and condos and stuff between the high school and Brickyard?
So possibly, again, possibly not.
Okay.
It depends on which side of the road you're on. I believe the apartments on the river side of, I think they already have some sidewalk infrastructure.
I know the condos.
So we may be able to tie into that and skip that portion. There's a lot we have to look at, and that's definitely one of the areas. Another area we need to look at is how do we get under the Big Bird Bridge? As you know, there's not much real estate on either side of that. It's all Route 4, so we'll have to pick a side where we have the most room and go through it.
is it possible to just put up, those, flexible poles or something, just so it's more of a barrier other than just a fog line?
So, if we were to do that, I would imagine that we would go for some kind of granite curbing like we do in most other parts of town, along major roads. So you would be roughly about 6 inches above the road,
Okay,
and then, yeah, and then the fog line would continue probably a foot out of that, depending on how much room we have. But again, it's all about room, and that's something we have to talk to DOT about too.
Yeah,
to
I
see
mean,
if they'll
'cause
even
that's,
allow it through.
yeah, because that's DOT's ball of wax ultimately.
Yeah,
And, and it may be, that the actual travel lane has to be shifted one way or the other to get enough space. I mean, it's not,
absolutely.
it's potentially kind of something of a problem.
Yes.
with the DOT moving sometimes slowly, do we need to bundle it up with a bow and hand it off to them so it can churn through DOT versus it being holding us up a year from now because, we say it's DOT's responsibility now?
Well, the DOT has gone through a lot of changes since July, as Bruce, I'm sure you know. And so, and those changes are pretty much all personnel. So they're gonna boil it down to a safety standpoint. Is it safe enough to have a sidewalk go through there or not? That's what they're gonna look at ultimately. And at that point, we just need to kind of have possibly a plan B in place as well. Maybe we try and connect the sidewalk to the ramp that the Midpoint Development is building, Bruce. If that's a feasible option. I'm not sure that it is though. And
There's a speed and average daily volume concept where, I'll give you an example. So, the piece of trail that we built out in East Hartford on 84 has massive Jersey barriers and a fence on top of the Jersey barriers. I mean, it's a major league thing, having everything to do with speed. So they will design something to, AASHTO FHWA standards that reflects that. And the question is, I'm not quite sure what that is.
Yeah, and I think, Andres, what you're asking is that's going to be our job, not the DOT job. We're going to have to design something, get it to them, and they're going to either have to approve it or kill it and eventually meet out there with everybody and work something out to make that happen. So I think once the Midpoint Development sidewalk goes in, you'll start seeing a lot more push. They're still with OSTA right now, so hoping that gets done. They were trying to get some construction this year. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. It all depends on OSTA, but if not, then it would be a late winter, probably beginning early spring. So, I think you'll start seeing a lot of changes out there in the next in the next year, and that'll just push DOT to get that more the connection. Unfortunately, I think it's got to go to the south side of Route 4 in that area because the north side is up against those two lakes there, or the two ponds. So there's really no room for a sidewalk there. So somewhere we have to get people cross from the town hall to that south side. So maybe you go back to the intersection at Wawasa or something like that, but we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, the Lakeview side, just to my way of thinking, is a permitting nightmare.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
No, that would be too much construction costs. You're talking like retaining walls.
Oh, yeah. Oh, just,
major
yeah.
lane shifts. It would be far more than what is considered reasonable for a sidewalk project.
So if it's our responsibility to kind of give something to the DOT saying, hey, we want to do this, I assume we can get the traffic volume and speed study somewhere. And what document says, is it, the traffic controls document that says, here's the approved, when you've got this speed on the road, here's what kind of barriers you need? Or is that the one that says that the curb is good, or we need something, more substantial?
I think no matter what, they're gonna ask for something more substantial, whether the book has to dictate or not.
Okay,
I think they're gonna be, because it's also, you're also starting to lead into a curve
Yeah,
going through Big Bird Bridge,
sure.
headed to Town Hall. So I think they're gonna ask for some kind of barrier either way.
I mean,
that's
or,
my
or
guess.
the,
That's my guess.
or
Yeah.
devil's advocate, you say, hey, listen, right now people are using that with nothing. And anything is better than what we have now.
Unfortunately, that's not how the DOT looks
Yeah.
at things.
Okay,
And I think what
I
you're gonna
know.
get into is you're gonna get into the safe separation distance between the fog line and the edge of the sidewalk, so.
so is
again,
that, is DOT, is there a possibility the DOT says there's nothing we can do, go away?
If they do that, then it turns into a political thing. Then you've got the politicians pushing down on these guys and something has to get resolved. So we'll figure something out. Like I said, I think we have to cross that road when we get there. At this
Okay.
point, let's just
Yeah.
get the funding in place and then we have to start getting pencil to paper and start getting some lines to talk to a DOT with.
Okay,
Yeah, there's also, it's not optimal, but there's eventually going to be, an at-grade capability, when they start whittling down that bank for this new project. So, it's possible we could go around it, I suppose, but it would not be the best idea,
No,
for sure.
how difficult is it to just make a, 10-foot wide tunnel that goes through there?
you can't,
Maintenance wise,
that wouldn't fit.
yeah.
No, not under,
It's doing
not
it.
not on the road, but I'm saying, you just run it to the right, where Valero is, to the right of those stairs. Or
You're
sorry,
going through the building then, I think.
Yeah, you're talking
Yeah.
extremely high, big bucks,
Okay.
DOT is designing a tunnel right now for phase 2 of Plainville, under 72.
Yeah,
It's gonna be 10 by 14 prefab culverts.
yep,
They're gonna have to take down that piece of 72 on a weekend, throw the culverts in, and put 72 back on top of it again.
wow,
And it's the current estimate just for that tunnel is something like $2 million.
Yep.
So just be advised that this is
Yeah.
not something they like to do.
yep. Well, I'm just thinking that if that, provide that to an option to DOT, saying, hey, if you're not willing to do this on the side of the road, then we want to, go ahead and put a tunnel through it. And, then if, I don't know, if that could carry some weight with them and saying, hey, listen, do you want to spend $1 million putting this in or not?
Well, I think we're probably a few steps away from that right now anyways. Bruce was
Okay.
saying, I think first we get in those grant dollars and see what happens. But all these thoughts, I think we try anything we can to get people safely, hopefully under that bridge, and we figure out what can happen because we'll do whatever we can to make it happen. It's just, we got to go through the process first. And just as an aside, there are a few other not necessarily conflicting, but other issues in the area. We just had a major CROG presentation at our town council meeting about the traffic study. We're talking about traffic all in that area for the potential third bridge from Monteith right to New Britain Avenue. That would be kind of a game changer as far as traveling through that area. And pedestrian traffic. The bridge would have, space for very wide sidewalks ideally, as well as bike lanes. So that kind of adds to all the connectivity and traverse throughout that area.
We all set with that then? Next is the meeting schedule. I mean, just so everyone knows, we're meeting again October 11th, November 9th, and December 14th. I know it's early, but we're already putting our land use calendars together for next year. Time really flies by. So just trying to add the bike committee onto this list as well for planning purposes. Are we still looking to do once a month? Do we want to go back to once every 2 months? Do we want to change the date? I know that Neil and I have Wednesday meetings elsewhere, and it makes our Wednesdays almost every month booked solid. So, and I know everyone else has other stuff, but just wanted to get a discussion going about it. Where do we think we want to go so I can start planning the calendar ahead?
Can I just, so I just noticed that Bruce Donald has to leave in 5
okay.
minutes, Bruce. So I was just wondering if we can if I can go through this bicycle friendly community
Okay.
stuff. So I'm sorry to interrupt. So I emailed everyone 2 separate emails, one being a single sheet, basically with the important bullet points. And then it's all expanded on the 3-page handout. So I'm not going to take too long on this, but you'll be able to go through it. The most important thing out of tonight is that and I don't need people raising their hands tonight, but we definitely need to put together a committee dedicated just at working on this application. So some of the important things that we're going to have to do, and we're going to need little subcommittees for this, and I'll reach out to my Bike Walk Farmington board as well. But if you have it in front of you, you can see number 1, we're basically going to map out the entire town, and we're going to count parking. And Bruce, jump in whenever you hear me missing something. So it's basically going to be a whole town inventory to see what we have and what we need to improve our chances of moving up. Another important goal that we have is to make the town a bike-friendly business. So maybe CJ can help us with that. And we have to make sure that all town policies, plans, and codes are updated, all of that. Another component is to enforce traffic laws to improve the safety and comfort of all road users. So we can get together with Farmington Police Department on that. Also, a bigger goal of Bike Walk Connecticut through Steve Mitchell is we want to try to get as many bicycle-friendly businesses as we can. Because of course, then when you get one business, you grab all of their, or some of their employees as well. No better way to spread the word than doing that. I have a list of potential companies to reach out to, which you'll see on the 1 page. As a side note to that, we are doing a health fair, Bike Walk Farmington. We have 3 of us going next week, Jackson Labs Health Fair. So we've been meaning to connect with them for a long time. And I'm hoping to make some really good connections next week and to see if we can draw some of those folks in. Improving the bike infrastructure, which is what we talk about here all the time. And we can go through that more in detail once we get the committee together. I know we measured ridership quite some time ago. I'm wondering if maybe we could set up some way to get a feel for how many people are running running their errands that are 3 miles and less, opposed to driving. Asking them where they live and how they find that, do they find it easy to get to Stop and Shop, or what's the other supermarket? Highland Park. Things like that. So what we need to do is to form, and I'm going over this way quicker than I kind of wanted to, but So we need to form bicycle-friendly community application committee, we'll call it. And so I'm hoping if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I'm hoping by Monday to have some type of committee put together for this. And if you read the 3-page handout, Bruce Donald came up with that. He condensed it. And that's basically the bigger picture of everything. Bruce, maybe you can clear up maybe what I have said.
No, you were pretty good there. Just an addendum to part of what you said was, we envisioned doing some sort of a town-wide survey that would address a lot of these issues, the usage issues, who's doing what, where they going, those types of things, and getting that set up basically as soon as we can. So that was part of our discussion. And then the other thing that was on my list, and I have done, is I went to the Connecticut Trail Census at UConn and asked them if they could do a study of trail usage using their counters for Farmington. They said, yes, of course we can. So that's in the works too. So those are the major things on my plate. And I'm sorry, guys, but I'm headed off to the Farmington Canal Rails Trail Association Board of Directors. But good to see you all. And just, Bruce, let me know if anything else happens. And
Will do.
happy to
thank
help
you.
with everything. Yeah, thank you all so much. Good to see you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks,
Bruce.
Bruce.
Thank you.
So the great thing about the counters is we actually have David Olette, a lot of you know, from Bike Walk Farmington. He's actually in charge of coming up with those numbers. He does a great presentation, so we can get him here anytime we need to have him, and he can do a presentation for us and explain how to go on there and what the numbers mean and to dig deeper into them. I've got a whole bunch of more stuff, but
All right, well, Ron, I think like I kind of, we're emailing a little back and forth. I have a lot of that information already. So there's probably a lot of information we already have. So maybe it behooves us to maybe, like I said, kick it out of here. Let's sit down, give me a call. Let's have a meeting. Let's get together a list. I can tell you what I can help you with and things that you'll need help with. And we'll go from there. Okay?
okay, still looking for that subcommittee.
Okay.
So Ron, one of the punch list items I think we had for the application last time was, the town was trying to adopt language for, better bicycling infrastructure. And I know in the beginning of the year, with all the, just the turnover with the town council and stuff like that, CJ, you were waiting to kind of bring it in front of, I think, Planning and Zoning Commission for that. Did that ever get proposed and
No,
approved?
that's
or-
me. That's the
Oh,
complete
okay,
street.
sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
we talked about that earlier. I put in that with big exclamation points. That's going to Shannon ASAP. I have got it.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's huge. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
So just work with me, Ron. We can do a lot of work offline,
Okay,
I think, and get a lot more done that way,
all right, great.
Okay?
Thank you.
If you don't mind, I'd like to jump back to the meeting schedule. So if anyone has
ahead.
any thoughts, do we want to keep the monthly meetings? Do we want to cut it down to every 2 months?
I like weekly. I think it drives progress.
Monthly,
I'm
you mean?
not married to Wednesday. I could, do Thursday.
Did you mean monthly?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, oh my God, that'd be too much.
Thank you.
Sorry.
It'll be lonely at most of those meetings out.
Yes, seriously.
Everybody on the same page? Everyone want to do something different? I don't want to set these meeting dates if we're looking to do something different. So,
Do you guys want to try to start any earlier? Do you want to start at 6 rather than 7?
I think, Rich, you,
Even 6:30?
Rich, I think you have to work, right? You don't get back till around 7 o'clock? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, well, 6 would be tight, but I could make it for 6.
Well, even if we did 6:30, because the meetings generally run an hour, so you're done a half hour early, and that gives the other guys a chance to get to their stuff later on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
Sure.
Why don't we try 6:30? That's a good idea.
6:30?
6:30 is good.
All right, we'll do 6:30 weekly. I mean, thank you, monthly. And do we still want, do we, and do we still want the Wednesdays or not? BJ, I know you have a lot of council stuff, so that kind of plays into you, I think, as well.
Wednesday works out.
Wednesdays for you?
What's-
All right, so
what's that?
so the consensus is to stick with the Wednesdays, everybody?
Yes.
All right, so I'll put together a list and I'll get those out.
So the
I'll tell
12th
you as
would be
well.
the next one, right?
What's that?
The 12th would be the next one?
No, the 11th, I think, is what I have in the calendar here.
That's a Tuesday.
Written down. Is that right here? Yeah, it's a 12th, so it's written in. It's written wrong here.
Okay, all right.
All right, guys.
Motion to adjourn?
There we go. That's your motion. Any second?
Yeah.
Done.
I'll
Mural.
second it.
All right. You guys want out? All
Favor.
right.
We're
Have a good
adjourned.
night.
Have a
All
good
right,
one,
guys.
gentlemen.
Have a good night.